Did you a call first? Somebody to come get her? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you do after she left to make sure class stayed on track?
I had to keep narrating.
Okay.
I've been narrating for the past 10 minutes, so it's getting better.
Okay. So how did this session? I'm taping this so I can get myself better. So how did the RTTC session go for you?
Really good.
Okay, talk to me about that. Why?
When you narrate as they come in and you keep narrating, it just sets the tone for like what they're supposed to do when they come in. So they don't come in all crazy, and they know what they're supposed to do. They know what level they're supposed to be at. They're supposed to be in their seat. I had a few students, ask me what seat they were in because they knew I was going to change them around a little bit, trying to get it right for that block.
So you brought your chart. Good.
Yeah.
Do you have feedback for me on the session? Okay. How did the class go after I left?
They tried to get a little off task, but I just kept narrating. I had to deal with the Shantaya situation, but I kept narrating and kept, I gave dojos to students who were doing what they were supposed to do, and I redirected the ones who needed redirection.
Good. Why do you think class reacted that way when we left, that they tried to get off task?
They probably felt like everything was going to go back to how it's been lately when they come in. It's just kind of been, I give the MVP, but I'm not consistently narrating enough so they know, oh yeah, she's watching me, she's paying attention to my every move.
Good, and we're going to keep working on it. I've got a time scheduled for tomorrow. We'll do it again, and then Monday and Tuesday, just to start getting it strong. So real quick, I want to take a look at your seating chart. Is there anything you need to adjust? Where did you see hot pockets?
Everywhere I move in.
What if you put him there?
Only thing is that Brandon loves his seat. Brandon, he does really good right there. He does love that seat. I mean, he doesn't mind sitting at the table. Sometimes he'll move up and sit at the table. So maybe if I tell him, sit at the table and then give him one of these desks.
Because he was on task in the back.
Yeah, he is.
Yep.
So you said put Karan here?
Yeah, well, or around the buffer children, who, even if he is off task, he doesn't have people who are consistently engaging in conversation with him.
Because why was China right here today when her seat was over there?
Yeah, I didn't catch that. She's trying to be near Shantaya, who was also in the wrong seat, which I couldn't even address that with her because she came in late.
Okay. So what can you do as scholars are coming in to hold them accountable for their seats?
I would usually hold attendance over their head. I don't know if
Or
they
take
know.
attendance.
Yeah.
And as you're taking attendance, you can see who's in each seat and have them move, because this is a super technical issue.
So, Michael, I don't even think that move needs to happen because everybody else who was right here is
yeah.
in the wrong seat.
Yep.
Okay, so leave Brandon where he is.
And just have the students sit in the seats that you have planned out for them.
Okay. China gave me some pushback about this. I don't know why. She was sitting in the back in the beginning, and I left her in the back. I just moved her over, but she doesn't like that desk.
So using NNN.
Now she's asking me if she can move up,
But what was she doing where she was at today?
engaging with Shantaya.
Okay, and talking. And even before Shantaya came in, she was talking with Karan, and it was just a real bad mix for the overall culture of your whole class.
Maybe if I move her here.
And so sticking to your seating chart. So you have one in place to get to know the names, which is one of your previous action steps. And so now stick to it and take attendance. So if you write this down, you're going to take attendance at the beginning of every block and fix and adjust so students are actually sitting in their right seats. And following through if students aren't, through telling them to move, narrating scholars in their seat, and providing a consequence so that way they get in their seat, and following through the ladder. Okay, so when you were at the door and students were first coming in, you were delivering strong MVPs and a strong voice with a stance. Students looked back at you, like Jamarian when he came in, even Nathan and DJ looked back, but what did they end up doing?
They were off task.
When they first came in?
Well, when they first came in, they were great.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Jamarion, he was really good.
Yeah, you were at the door. You were standing tall and proud. You were delivering strong MVPs as they were coming. Even at one point, I said, okay, they're all silent, so you can quiet down now. And you had a real strong presence that allowed them to come in, get their books, sit, and read. Talk to me about why your teacher presence impacted them in a way that they were following your directions the first time you asked them.
My firmness, my tone.
Why is that
My
going to
body
encourage
language.
them to follow your directions?
Because they see that I'm not going to let them not meet my expectation. They see that my expectations are high, and that it's going to be maintained throughout.
And your body language is telling them, like, I'm going to maintain this for you and for others. As the class started filling, however, your MVPs started getting super quiet. Your body language changed, and you went from having a tall presence to me saying, go to the front, say it loud. Why did you change your body and your tone?
Probably just nervous.
And what impact did that have on your students?
Yeah, they can sense it. They can sense it.
They can sense it. It's okay. Why are you upset?
This block is challenging.
Okay. But what did you do to set it off strong? What moves did you do?
Gave my MVP.
And how did you give it?
I was confident.
Yeah. Are you this confident every time when this class comes in? So you already have a mindset that this class is going to act a certain way. And how are you internalizing it?
I think I just feel like I lose control with it.
So are you lowering your bar, you think, for this block?
Probably.
Because this isn't the same way I saw you at the beginning. Remember the first few days and I came in and got in and helped? And then when we came back, what did you, I don't know if you remember what you and the kids were saying about that class. You said, I got it back. This is my class. Remember?
Yeah.
And you were proud. You were given those strong MVPs. Even the look on your face was very no nonsense, walking through. So what has happened in between that when that time last week and Thursday of this week, Wednesday, Thursday of this week?
Well, in this block, some of the kids are missing sometimes, like Jeffrey. He's been suspended a couple times already. So I think I let, one or two students kind of throw off everything for me.
Yeah. Another thing I noticed is when you gave consequences, your students accepted it.
Yeah.
Nathan, usually in his history of when he's given a consequences, makes excuses. He started to, you narrated 3, and what did he do?
He got on task and just did what he was supposed to do.
Every time you gave a consequences, students accepted it and did not argue back besides that once, right? But then when I started cueing you to consequence, you were picking out certain scholars and not the other ones. So who are certain scholars that you normally gravitate to consequence? Well, let's look at your sheet.
Probably the boys. Definitely Karan.
Yeah.
He's very vocal and loud.
Who else do you normally gravitate to or feel that are ones that take over the culture?
Damon and times.
DJ.
And Jeffrey.
Okay.
Zamir he's done a transformation. I don't know what's going on. He's one of my best ones now, but
And so then when I had you consequence other scholars and they were boys, it was harder for you, such as Jay Sheen.
yeah.
Why you struggle to give him a consequence, but other scholars not so much?
I guess because the ones who are usually doing what they're supposed to, I get disappointed when they don't. So I see the difference.
Talk to me more.
If it's not someone I would usually expect, not meeting the expectation, then I probably waver a little bit from the consequence when I should be, consequencing everybody the same every time.
Because Jay Sheen was eagerly looking around to see who else he could talk to. And I cued you to consequence, and he's in and out, but you consequenced, I believe, Nathan, who was silent. And it was, Jay Sheen was one of the ones that was talking.
And sometimes it's hard to catch.
It is hard. So what can you do before you provide a consequence to make sure you're seeing everybody?
Narrate, scan.
Scan.
Yeah.
And so right now, I want us to practice. We've got some minutes before you have to go back in, and I want you to practice perfect so that way when you get back with your class,
Okay.
this is a conversation we're going to keep having of unpacking your mindset about Block 3A. I'm going to write that down so we know. But don't let your perceptions of a few kids impact how you start to carry yourself in your class.
Right.
Okay. So when you get back in class, what are you going to have kids do?
Get onto their ebook
Okay. How do you want them to enter the class?
at level 0.
Okay. So go ahead and let's deliver the MVP. And I want strong, proud. You're getting this class back because the amount of student on-task behavior is definitely equal to the amount of energy you put into it. You were working your butt off when I was cueing you. And how was the class acting? And when you don't, how's the class act? So you've got to get that get yourself up and ready. All right, give me that MVP as you enter the classroom. Stand still, get those shoulders back, and get that face back on. Who's the girl in a different world who has that stern face? What's her name?
Whitley.
Get a Whitley face, please. But get that face on. And give a direction just like Whitley would.
At a level 0 in your seat, log onto your ebook and access your assignments.
Try again.
Okay.
Think of Whitley. Give yourself a funny moment in your head so we can. When you're ready, go ahead.
At a level 0 in your seat, access your ebook and click assignments.
Great. What are you going to do next?
Narrate.
Which students do we need to build a relationship with?
Rebecca, before she moves on to that,
Oops.
where should she stand when she's giving her MVPs?
At the front.
Mm-hmm.
So should she circulate or anything while she's
Nope.
giving them?
No. So go ahead, give your strong MVP, and then scan.
In your seat at a level 0, access your ebook, click assignments.
Scan. How can exaggerated scanning where you're at look like?
You said an exaggerated one?
Scan. Mm-hmm.
Like this.
And even this. Let's get up on our tiptoes. And I want like that serious face that you had last week back on. So. Do your MVP again and do that again. And get it almost a more severe scan.
At a level 0 in your seat, access your ebook, click assignments. Sorry.
It's all right. You can go on this side of the room. Stand. Now what are you going to do after you scanned?
Narrate.
Narrate. Go ahead.
Thomas is at
Stay
a
at
level
the
0
front
in his
still.
seat. Stay at the front.
Mhm.
Nathan's at level 0 accessing his ebook.
Good.
Anaya's at level 0 accessing her ebook.
Good.
Jay Sheen is accessing his ebook at level 0.
Okay. So how can you go back in? You're about to pick them up from lunch. I know you had an emotional moment, which is great because that means we're opening this up to get the work done that needs to be done. How can you start carrying this the minute you get in there?
I'm just making sure they're at the assigned tables for one, because a lot of them like to linger.
Good. And what are you going to do with your teacher presence?
Make it known.
How should you be carrying yourself right now?
Confident.
Confident. What does that look like?
Come on, clipboard.
Yes. So you're going to be tall. You're going to have a strong teacher stance. Your action step right now is from now and on, and I'm coming back in tomorrow, is in a strong voice, delivering your MVPs. Your second action step is after your MVP, is you're going to do that exaggerated strong scan.
So, Rebecca, can I make a proposal?
Please.
So, when you are giving your MVP, there are 2 places in your classroom where you can see the majority of the class. So over by your desk, give the MVP, scan, and then begin narrating, and then walk to the other corner by your door, scan again. So that way you're just seeing both sides. So what it would look like would be, I'm over by my desk at a level 0, open up your Chromebook and log on to Nearpod. Jeffrey's at a level 0, Quran's at a level 0, China's at a level 0. I'm now over by the door. and Nicholas is at a level 0, Tiffany's at a level 0. So those are your 2 porch like spots, your 2 hot spots over by your desk.